13 Best JDM Cars Under $10,000. Number 13. Acura RSX Type S. The RSX Type S is an amazing car in every aspect. It's quick, looks good, and has an engine that's great for adding power. Over in Japan, the Acura RSX was sold as the 4th generation Honda Integra. Overall, the RSX looks really cool, has a massive aftermarket selection, and it's got a great engine if you're looking to make easy power with it. The only thing to look out for when buying one is faulty engine mounts. It seems to be a trend amongst Acura RSX models to have engine mount failures. Other than that, it's a great car. Number 12. Scion TC. The TC is certainly a unique car. At first glance, it looks like a sporty Toyota Camry, and if you think that, you aren't entirely wrong. The Scion TC is an amazing cheap tuner car. It's sporty while still being a Toyota, which means it's extremely reliable. The Scion TC features a 2.4-liter dual overhead cam 4-cylinder which makes 161 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. It also comes with a 5-speed manual or 4-speed automatic transmission. They're extremely fun to drive and they look really good too. The Scion TC was a great tuner car with a large aftermarket following. It's a severely underrated car. Number 11. Lexus LS400. The LS400 was Lexus's attempt at building a V8 luxury car, and it did great. The LS400 comes with a quad-cam, 4-liter V8 making 250 horsepower. Unfortunately, it's only available with an automatic transmission, but manual swaps are very common and fairly easy to do. The car is also rear-wheel drive, so if you're looking to drift, or just have a fun time driving, this is the perfect car for you. 4 doors means it's more practical than most of its competitors, and the Toyota reliability means it'll outlast most vehicles on the road, not to mention, it looks great. Number 10. Acura Integra. The Integra is a good car in every aspect. It looks cool, is comfortable, has a massive aftermarket following, and is great for a budget build. The specific model you want to look for is an Acura Integra GSR. They come with a 1.7-liter inline-4 making 160 horsepower. Fortunately, they're still a Honda, which means it is unbelievably reliable, and good for making decent power. Build the engine a bit, slap on a turbo, and you have a pretty powerful car. Number 9. Toyota Celica GTS. In this entry, I'll be referring mainly to the 7th generation Celica. This generation Celica GTS features a 1.8-liter inline-4 engine which makes a respectable 180 horsepower. Unfortunately, the Celica is front-wheel drive, but that shouldn't scare you away because due to its light weight, the Celica is still a decent handling car. On top of all this, it looks really good. It looks like a cool sports car, which it is. I'd highly recommend the 7th generation Celica to anyone who wants a really cheap sports car. Just be aware that this generation Celica is notorious for burning oil and even blowing engines. Number 8. Lexus SC300. The SC300 was an iconic sports car for several reasons. One of those reasons is the fact that it is equipped with the legendary 2JZ engine. Unfortunately, it is the non-turbocharged version, which means its internals are less suited for forced induction. But with that in mind, the stock engine block can still reliably hold 500 horsepower. The SC300 definitely isn't the best looking car by any standards, but it's still a great Japanese car and would be a great car to build power with. Number 7. Mazda Miata. The Miata has become known as the best handling sports car ever made, as despite not being fast, the Miata is a great cornering car which makes it extremely fun to drive. Any generation of the Miata is a great car, but I'd recommend the first generation due to its unique pop-up headlights and massive community. Due to its size, most tall people won't be able to fit in the Miata because they're surprisingly small, regardless of its size. The Miata is a great car. Number 6. Infiniti G35. The G35 is a very special car. Available as a coupe or a sedan, the G35 features rear-wheel drive or optional all-wheel drive paired to a 3.5-liter V6 and 6-speed manual. The engine in the G35 is the same engine that can be found in the Nissan 350Z, which is an iconic sports car in its own right. Due to this, the G35 is slowly rising in price along with the 350Z, which is making it harder for younger enthusiasts to obtain. If you're interested in owning a G35, now would definitely be the ideal time to pick one up. Needless to say, they're great cars. Number 5. DSM Mitsubishi Eclipse. The first and second generation Mitsubishi Eclipse was a great car. Overall, it fits the Japanese car scene perfectly. It looks cool, has a good engine to modify, and is quite reliable. It shares internals with the Eagle Talon and Plymouth Laser, so if you can't find an Eclipse, those are two very good options as well. The Eclipse is definitely an amazing Japanese car which has been featured in several movies and TV shows where it is mainly documented as a race car, only proving farther that it has great potential to be a fast vehicle. Number 4. Lexus IS300. The Lexus IS300 is a very unique car. The IS300 is a 4-door sedan which comes equipped with a 2JZ, the same as the SC300. Unfortunately, like the SC300, the engine isn't turbocharged, but it wouldn't be hard to swap a 2JZ GT into an IS300 or upgrade the internals on the stock motor. The IS300 comes with an automatic or a 5-speed manual transmission. Finding one with a manual transmission may be hard to do for under $10,000, but it's certainly not impossible. The IS300 would make for a really good sleeper car due to its average-looking body. Number 3. Scion FRS and Subaru BRZ. I put these two vehicles in the same entry, because technically they're the same vehicle. They share internals and even their body styles are very similar. The only difference is the front fascia on the two cars. The FRS and BRZ are not exactly fast, but they're able to take comers really well and they handle almost as good as a Miata. Their only downside is that they're fairly underpowered, but a few bolt-on engine mods can change that. They're available with an automatic or a manual transmission. They may be hard to find in decent shape at $10,000, but it's definitely not impossible. Number 2. Honda Civic. The Honda Civic is the generic go-to tuner car. Almost everyone starts out with one because of just how good they are. They're easy to work on, beyond reliable, and they look fairly cool too. Parts for Civics are extremely easy to come by, and every generation Civic has a massive aftermarket following, so they're all easy to modify. Civics are also extremely cheap and they're everywhere. Everything about them is good. They do come as front-wheel drive cars, but swapping in an all-wheel or even rear-wheel drive it isn't impossible and has been done hundreds if not thousands of times. Number 1. Subaru WRX. The Subaru WRX is an amazing cheap tuner car. In this entry, I'll be focusing mainly on the Blob I WRX, but any generation WRX is a great cheap tuner car. The Blob I WRX was made from 2004 to 2005 and features a 2-liter boxer engine which makes 227 horsepower and 217 pound-feet of torque. The WRX comes with all-wheel drive and a 5-speed manual transmission. The Subaru WRX has always dominated the rally car scene, so if racing interests you at all, this is the perfect car for you. Every generation of WRX has a massive tuning community and large aftermarket following. Something to be aware of if you do get a WRX, be careful, because they're prone to blowing head gaskets. Regardless of their issues, they're great cars to modify. So there you have it, 13 of the best Japanese cars under $10,000. Comment some more cheap Japanese cars, and while you're down there, feel free to subscribe.